Graft and corruption. What is it? Why does people do it? Hello, my name is Sir Chow, and I'm here to talk about graft and corruption in the Philippines, and also why is it all over the world. Graft is a form of political corruption defined as the unscrupulous use of a political authority for personal gain. Political graft occurs when funds intended for public projects are intentionally misdirected in order to maximize the benefits to private interests. Corruption is a form of dishonesty or a criminal offense which is undertaken by a person or an organization which is entrusted with a position of authority in order to acquire illicit benefits or abuse power for one's personal gain. There's a study about graft and corruption practices among selected public officials in southern Philippines that they use an in-depth analysis of primary data obtained from 8 informants, 4 of whom are town mayors and their 4 incumbent municipal treasurers is employed. The findings revealed that the mayor informants got selected through vote buying and bribery. They are supported by the use of guns, gold, and goons to ensure election victory. The most prevalent corruption practice disclosed by the informants in a missing the internal venue allotment or IRA the for personal purposes in order to recover the huge amount of money spent during election. And they also do falsification of documents, nepotism, bribery, and uh, kickbacks and evasion of public bidding. Interagency involvement of corruption among different government agencies are also uncovered. This problem also led to poor delivery of community service, uh, community basic social service in health, water supply, and education and security protection. That was only in the southern part of the Philippines. The total rank on corruption in Philippines is 150 in the year 2020. The question must be asked, why do people engage on graft and corruption? The common reasoning is greed, power, and getting higher than others. But there is also a study for this. It is by Margaret Travis, Washington University, in St. Louis. They examine individual level determinants of corruption. And the results indicate that both public officials and citizens are more likely to engage in corruption when they do not define corruption is wrong, and when they perceive that corruption behaviors is spread among their peers. Graft and corruption are usually caused by politicians of our government, but they were also caught and filed cases against them. For example, according to ABC.net, Senator Juan Ponce has been arrested over a massive corruption scandal which has shocked the country. The 90-year-old ex-defense secretary, Senate president, and martial law enforcer for the dictator Ferdinand Marcos, surrendered to the police to stand trial on charges of taking 172 million pesos or 3.95 million US dollars in kickback for illegal diverted state funds. Dozens of lawmakers, their staff, and other officials have been accused of embezzling millions of dollars allotted from the development project. And also Senator Jose Estrada and Ramon Revilla was included in this case. According to NBC News, Imelda Marcos, guilty of graft, the special anti-graft Sandigan Bayan court sentenced Marcos in 89 to serve 6 to 11 years in prison for each of the 7 counts of violating an anti-corruption law when she illegally funneled about 200 million to Swiss foundations in the 1970s as Metropolitan Manila governor. And these people are the most controversial cases in the Philippines, and there are many more like them that had been caught and soon to be caught by the government. Corruption is a very wrongdoing, and many people are affected by it, not only in the Philippines but in other countries as well, and also caused by their governments. Corruption is a foul thing. It is like a parasite that transferred to people for centuries, giving them greed and lust for power and money that do not belong to them. And we just wish that there was a world that has no corruption at all, and the only thing there is truth, and the world will prosper. But there is no such, there is no existing world like that. So the only thing we can do is to slow it down and someday stop it. Thank you very much. That is for my that is my documentary for graphing corruption. Thank you. Bye.